Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin. Materialists stars Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. A young New York City matchmaker lucrative business gets complicated as she finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. Never seen Past Lives, but I've heard good things about it. I maybe seen some clips online, but besides that, I haven't really seen much. But I was really looking forward to this film because of the cast. Dakota Johnson, I really like. Pedro Pascal, who is like an actor who's starting to get recognized a lot more now. And Chris Evans, he's always fantastic to see, doesn't matter what he is in. Everything from the marketing from this movie, the casting, and the trailers looked like this movie was going to be a fun time. And there's parts in this film I can take away from. Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal are standouts in this film. They have great chemistry on screen. Not really together. They have maybe like one screen time together. I wish that they actually had kind of more. But individually, just throughout the film, they did great. And the movie looks amazing. I really like the cinematography in the film. And the movie has a very interesting concept going for itself and brings up a lot of interesting topics about how dating is rough and scary, about like how women just want a taller guy and how men just want a younger woman. The film brings up a lot of interesting stuff, but doesn't really do anything with it. And mostly because it falls on Dakota Johnson. One of her acting is not that great, and her character is not interesting in any way. The story here is you follow this matchmaker who's really good at her job, but then she comes in across between Pedro Pascal, where she just likes him for his money and sees relationships as like math, so it's a bunch of numbers to her. So she sees him as almost like a perfect fit. And you have Chris Evans in the film who plays her ex, who's a struggling actor and who's kind of broke and can't really afford his own apartment, has a terrible car. And so throughout the whole entire film, you kind of see this struggle between of like how she doesn't really know to pick between two men, but you never really buy it. Like, the relationship between her and Chris Evans, I don't buy. Like, I don't understand why she has a love into this guy. It's not like Chris Evans' character is a bad character or anything like that. It's actually the complete opposite. I just don't buy their chemistry. Like, their chemistry is non-existent and throughout this whole entire film. We're constantly told that she loves this guy, but we never actually see why. They don't do anything together throughout this whole entire film. It's one thing you don't see Pedro Pascal and her do much besides go to fancy restaurants, which is the point of the film between their relationship, but you're supposed to really buy that Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson are really in love, and they're just two people are trying to make things work, and I don't buy it. And there's this weird subplot in the film that comes out of nowhere about sexual assault, which is a terrible thing. It's awful, and it happens in situations like this and dating and all that, but it has no place in this film because it doesn't add anything. This film is promoted as like a rom-com, and it's supposed to be a different type of kind of rom-com. Like, that's also part of its marketing. It's supposed to be very different, but the whole promotion around this movie is supposed to be fun and like, have a bunch of laughs, but there isn't any of that. There's a lot of serious themes in this film, and it's not. There's like maybe two times throughout the whole entire film where you laugh. So the film is kind of a little bit misleading in that way. But even then, if you knew going in what to expect from this movie, of how a serious kind of a little bit more of a serious tone that this movie is going to be, it's just not good. It's not really that good of a story. It's not really that interesting of a story. People will say it's not trying to be a rom-com, but then at the end it does try to be a rom-com with trying to have a nice, bow, like, everything nicely and tied up together towards the end. So it's just very strange, and it's kind of disappointing because I was really looking forward to this movie. And I'm not a person that is really into rom-coms, but I was kind of in a rom-com type of mood, I guess. I'm sorry, it's not really worth going out and watching. I would never really watch it again, even though it has interesting things that it brings up in its film. It just doesn't do anything with it. I'm gonna give Materialists a D+. That's kind of honestly how I really feel about the movie. There are good things to take away from the film, but overall the story's lackluster. It's not interesting, and it kind of misses the point of its own film, of the tone of the film, and it kind of just jumps over the place towards the end to try to get that happy ending, and it just doesn't really make any sense. And a lot of it in this movie is tell and not show, and I have that that's like a big problem for me in films. If you're not going to show, a lot of it's not going to come off portraying very well. And so I just never really bought anything that was happening on screen. We should have seen a lot more in this movie, and probably most likely just taken out the whole sexual assault subplot in the film. And I think this has to do with some true events that happened to the director in real life, because that's also what Past Lives, I believe, was also kind of about. But it just doesn't really work in this film, and I think the film kind of suffers with that. And we could have gotten more screen time with Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson, but also Dakota Johnson's acting in this film is just kind of wooden. It's not very good. It's very dry. So I say skip this one. Go check out The Life of Chuck. It's a way much better time of a film, way more emotional, so you'll have a great time with that, in my opinion. So I don't know, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye guys.